Bienvenue, all you beautiful bastards. Welcome to the Beginner's Guide. This is an indie game that's been out, I think, almost 10 years by now, or close to that age. And I believe it was from the same creator, lead writer, or something like that from the Stanley Parable. I know nothing about this game. I've had it extremely highly recommended to me. I've been told it doesn't take too long to complete, so we're going to jump right in. But it's supposed to be more abstract, like Stanley Parable, which I really love. I love games that go outside the box and outside the norm and really stretch what a game is meant to be and subvert expectations, so hopefully it's something like that.
Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
This is so cool. I love this. I love that it's not even his own games, it's somebody else that he found fascinating. Okay. Cool.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Whisper status, Whisper machine status. What's the Whisper machine? It's a cool name. This dude's very tall. These droids are very short. Uh-oh, we getting aliens?
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere.
Huh.
You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately, we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
force neutralized. Begin chip evacuation.
Because that's a realistic thing. Like, what if you only have the one clip, and if you run out, you run out? That's interesting.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
That's cool. I mean, that's broken. That's not how it's supposed to be, but like, it's very clearly like a skybox. But that's not a bad one. The stars look pretty, and there's like a texture on the windows. What are these? All right. Oh, here we go. Yeah, no enemies. This feels like this would be
Apparently, this space
populated.
station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
That's
Okay,
fair.
this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Ooh.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering a whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Of course.
Let
Who
me
is the
pause here
voice?
For a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Oh? Do you keep doing it? Oh. Whoa! I like this even better. You, like, ascend.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife,
Yeah.
a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
So cool. I can't move. I can only jump. Oh.
Yep.
I can only
In
move
this game,
backwards.
You can only walk
The pass is behind her. Okay, this is so clever. And the music's trippy. This is so cool. What are the holes? Hold on. Feature cannot be
So
seen.
it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
She stops and looks, becomes clearer. Oh man. So this is like metaphorically going back into your past. The future is always behind her. How'll she find the strength to confront it? Dude!
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick.
Doesn't overstay its welcome.
Okay, next one.
That was cool. I really like that one. Okay, so you can only see a short distance in front of you, and you can only go in this direction. Okay. You are now entering the Twilight Zone, the garbage dump.
And that's it.
Oh,
Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
okay.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Nonsense in nearly every direction.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him.
Interesting.
And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Well, and especially for... Oh, do I never actually reach the top? Does it slow down? Well, especially for just little ideas like
Once
this.
you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Okay. Is there something actually in it? Oh. Stand on an X staring at a bear for 3 hours. You run a shop inside your own body selling your organs to strategically make the most money. Play as loud, bodiless sound, walking around confusing people. You start in a small room. So these are just ideas?
And nice and filled with little ideas for games.
The chaos that doesn't work. Press U to surrender. You are a gate. Plays the camera filming an advertisement walking
Coda
around
would often
film.
tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
These are great little ideas. It just, a stranger appears. Whoa, okay. I want to meet Coda. Seems very cool. Very different. Say ready, set, fish. And it's like modeling and texturing improved. Like, granted, these are more simple environments, but they look better than the Counter-Strike one you're starting with.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Let me see. Did I trap myself in here? Am I stuck? Oh, wait.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
Okay, so I can't even go back. Okay.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Okay. Ooh. Whoa! Are these all rooms you
How
can go
about
in?
that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Huh. Super fascinating. Okay, so back to the... Is this the same one? Same sign? You are now exiting. Okay.
So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Fascinating. Huh. Great and lovely descent. Ooh. Kind of in a bowl, in a little void. It's a nice house.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
Right. I love these
To make
like
all of these
hexagonal
games,
tables.
Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
Source is one of my favorite engines. I would love to learn how to make stuff
The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
This is so trippy. But cool, it's like a fun little platforming section now. Now it's a challenge to get to the bottom without falling just into the void. And the music choices are good. I don't know if Coda like had the music choices in the game. They were probably just silent. Maybe he did. That's what's fascinating. I want to know whether they were added after the fact or they were just part of the original builds. But it's very cool. And this is my favorite aspect of like game design, movie making, like storytelling. Like you just get a glimpse into how other people think and function. Well, shit. There I go. Oh, but it sends you to the bottom anyway. So I could have skipped all that. But I chose to platform down. They were set up. I guarantee you're capable of going all the way to the bottom. Well, maybe not from that. Maybe that's the point. Maybe it's that it like promises to like have you platform to the bottom, and then it's inevitable that you can't. I don't know. But yeah, this really explores what I love about games and media in general, and especially solo developed stuff, is you really get a glimpse into how somebody else functions and thinks and idealizes and visualizes things, and it's so beautiful and fascinating to me. I'm gonna look at those in a second. There's nothing up here. And also, it's why I watch a lot of gameplay videos, because people interpret those so differently. I would love to watch videos on this one as well. What is this environment? And the sound design's scary. Oh. Oh. I want to. Oh, it doesn't let me go that way. Up here? Oh, did I just prison myself?
Funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go.
Whoa.
If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
That's wild that it actually
This is something
opens up
I used
again.
to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
Interesting. Because yeah, it doesn't matter if you have full control of it, if there's, like it said, quote-unquote playable, if you have full control over it, if there's nothing presented, if they're just empty. I love this. Is this a sand texture? And also these, you can't just drop down to the center. You have to take the long way around. You have to take the stairs. Some would find that boring. I find that interesting. Anything that controls the pace of the game, like whether intentional or not, totally affects of how somebody will experience it.
With the exact same solution as the last time.
Interesting.
There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Another skybox. And each of these environments and rooms are so unique and fascinating. You can tell he was like experimenting with like what looks cool, what's visually interesting, what's symmetrical, what's asymmetrical. where to put lights, where to put windows, like how to frame a room, and especially when you first enter, like what draws focus and what gets the player looking at things. And it's not universal. Players are going to look in different directions and focus on different things. That's kind of the beauty of it, is like as long as you have something for wherever the player is going to look, as long as there's something there for the player to actually see, there's going to be someone to appreciate it. What was up there?
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Wild, I was not expecting this. World stamped with whiteness, there was an enormous prison, there were these floating colored blocks. Yeah, what do I focus on? That's the world above, you've been there! What did you have to get through? A puzzle with 2 doors and switches. That was literally the last thing I did. I'd prefer not to tell you, we've only just met. I would say yes, I did. Again, perfect. Please tell us how you solved this, tell us the solution, tell us how to get to the other side. Someone else let me in. I don't remember how I solved it. Interesting. Versus none of these say that you can just tell them how to solve it. None of these are like, sure, you just do this. You don't want to go over there. I want to say that. I'm curious. Oh no, but I do. We do. We need to get over there. Do you understand? It is the most important thing in the world. We have to escape this prison. There must be an ending. I promise you, there's nothing I want more. Oh. And then it ends? A little fireplace. Oh, I can crouch. Is there actually a fire in here? No, it's just a texture. And this, like, stuff like this, it's so surreal and liminal and abstract, but, like, I don't know. It's interesting. This is a different group or the same group? How'd you get here? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? I've been right here this entire time. I suggest you go and see the puzzle sometime. It's not meant to be solved, but you can sit in the black space in the middle. What happens if I saw... Oh, who are you? Just go hang out there in that blackness for a bit. You may not like it at first, but it'll grow on you eventually. So is this the same group? They just keep sending me through again? Whoa, it's different again. Does it spit me out back to that same room though? And again, I love the music. That's trippy. I am actually gonna turn it down just a little bit. It is a little loud. There we go. Okay.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Sand floor again. Ooh. Is this a city street? Ooh. Okay.
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out.
Oh.
I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Interesting. Because I wonder how he started out getting into game development, like just making games clearly as a hobby, like just as a fascination, just toying around with it. This game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. Oh, cool. All notes you see are left by other players. Is this real? Is this a cool thing? Nice room. Is this real? Surely, if this were a real internet game, there would be hundreds just in this little opening room right here. I don't think so.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet.
Right.
All of the notes that you're gonna see have been written by Coda.
How do you beat this?
This
game?
was actually the first game of his
No
that I ever
point.
played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention.
Same.
I was over enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Feel
Reason.
free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
I want
Either
to.
way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness.
This
I
place
see
makes me
this person
sad.
who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
Well, and I love he's taking a perspective from people that would be like,
But it's ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him.
right. And
I
it's
have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me.
I
That I could
agree.
just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Yeah. Just saw a flying penguin. Let me tell you, it's the most majestic thing I've ever seen. I don't feel like living because nothing will ever be as majestic as that. I never want to see anything again if nothing will ever be that beautiful again. I'm crying now and plan on ripping my eyes out. I must go do that. Wow. Yeah, because you have to, he's quote unquote like taking perspective from other players and other people, but they're really his thoughts. And it's perspectives of like people just verbal barfing but also subconsciously him. And sometimes, yeah, verbal barfing is nonsense, but I love the one where it's like, I would literally be doing anything else. He's literally stepping into someone's shoes of like, this is boring. There's nothing. How's there wood and grass and concrete here? Yeah, and it's very abstract. Balls. I want to tell you a secret. Once upon a time, I did. I'm king of the world. Oh, you're not even at the tallest point. Define fun. Exactly. What defines fun? Fun is subjective. Like comedy, like horror. It's... What the shit is this cavern? It's... You determine your own fun, whatever you enjoy. Boring. Yep. I can assure you, guarantee that there's an acorn somewhere here in this place and the sailors are looking for it. Is that a reference to something? Yeah, I want to read them all. Am I allowed to? Just looking for someone to talk with. There's so many, and they're all his. I refuse to believe. Butt-ass butt. Need to go to the freaking bathroom. Yeah, there's no toilets here. Recognize me, please. Wow, there's so many of them. Okay, what's through here? There's nothing here. Go back. Don't listen to that guy. Yeah, these are a different color. Are they different? They were darker. A free t-shirt. Makes game, includes door. Can I open door? Thanks. That's, yeah, people get pissed that there's games that, like, you can't open every door and go everywhere. I'm like, no, that's, like, I don't know. Doors are designed to be opened or closed. They can be locked or unlocked. It's open sesame. Door, how open. Need the other side. Door, why you so... Someday I will meet the person who made this. I want to. I really want to. I help people because of the internal good feeling I get. Interal good feeling I get. Holy shit, new room! There's so many. Do you hear the chimes? They keep you going. I would very much like to be desired. Oh, that's so human. That's so just, yeah. Scared of writing something, don't want to feel judged. Also human. It's not very crowded here. Well, that was, again, that'd be cool if there were like timestamps. But I also like that there's not. You can kind of imagine what time they were. Welcome, congratulations. I don't really know where to go with this. You can go in here, I think. Don't bother. Game where you leave notes and suddenly everyone's a poet. This is where I get off. Failed to write anything here. I'm compelled. Stop. Turn back. Proceeding further will only result in misery. Can't make that jump. Take my hand. Let's jump together. No, we will perish. Well, not perish, but land down there. There's so many of these, and I love all of them. Cabbage shapes our nation. What is that painting? It's not quite Jackson Pollock. I don't know what it is. It does not matter if you ever get over there. Oh, are we not able to? Hey, don't talk about me that way. Very good game. I agree. I'm loving this so far. I think this is not going anywhere. Well, next time I will do better. Who? I need someone to talk to. A lot of people do. In fact, everyone does. This is a note? Don't listen to the other notes. Oh, well, glad I can't fall down. Can you imagine if I got stuck there and I never got to read the other notes? I'm not safe. Interesting. There's so many of these. And I know I missed an entire, there's entire paths in the other room that I totally missed. Today I learned you cannot fall off. Bullshit. Ethical. I don't want to try. I don't want to risk falling off. I saw a person walking down there. Now it won't come back. Wait, really? Fuck, made me look. Devil Tower Star? What? Oh my god, there's so many of these. Well done, all of you. I agree. To the one person who wrote all these. Painting, what does it mean? Well, and I love that there's an abstract painting here, and that he came up with people idealizing what it's meant to symbolize. Stop faking it. It's so meta, knowing that this is solo developed and it's not actually connected to the internet. Whoever made this has issues. Art. Hey guys, how's it going? Just hanging. Help, I'm trying to speak. I think it's about how things look messy from up close and perfect from far away. Not sure. I mean, that's an interpretation. That's a valid one. From up here, it just looks like dots. From back there, it looked like dots. It looks like dots regardless. Cabbage shapes our nation. We will all die someday. Who are all of you? Stop pretending you are other people. Spoilers, it doesn't mean anything. It's about how this game is pretentious and you all suck. Sometimes I feel that way with certain games. Devil Tower Star. What's Devil Tower Star? What's Cabbage? He was himself the most horrible creature he could imagine. That's a poetic line. Is that from... That sounds like... Let's see. Maybe I'll feel real someday. Well, I'm here now. Yeah, we're all here now. These environments are so cool and unique. And I love that they're imperfect. Like... I don't know. Like, it's not... You can see, like, the edges of that wall or whatever. Like, I don't know. It's just... Must be a reason for it. But it'll stick with me. His terrible secret, he kept it well. I beat the game! This will stick with me forever. Even though there's nothing in it, there's nothing happening. Look at that! That's so cool! More room?
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
Ah. Because you have to close it to move forward. That's true. All these whispers. Was this Devil Tower Spiral? Was this foreshadowing? Downward, keep digging.
In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
Can't even fall off. But I love that this is the end. Does this puzzle have a solution? Been here for literally an hour. Help! Help! This doesn't make sense. The second door won't open. Shit, how do you solve it? Developer answers. Some people are like this. They don't even... They want it solved for them. And it's frustrating. Puzzles are the most frustrating thing to design in any game, because how do you make it satisfying to pull off, but not too obvious that it's like slapping you in the face and like walking you through it?
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Heading back to the start later, guys. Oh no! This doesn't make sense. The second door had open. And then there's so much more. Look at this. I love this. Fuck, that's scary. All the typewriters. I thought there was something chasing me. How do you leave notes? Yeah, you can't even... It doesn't even let you leave the notes. Here's the lamppost again. Is this the 100 typewriters or the 100 monkeys kind of thing? Are you there? Please say something. It can be anything. I just need you to say something. Talk to me, please. Why are you having so much difficulty talking? Speak, 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 speak. Whoa. Trippy. That's been my favorite porn star's die
Okay,
too.
this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
What the hell? Okay. Is that a real picture? Is that from a real place? Looks like a workplace or a college campus or something. Guess we'll... Oh, we can go this way. Whoa! See, I love this stuff. This is so cool. What's this? Same picture. Just a block. And it's... This could have been an empty hallway, but I love that there's just lights and a block of whatever this is. Is it wood? It kind of looks like wood. Yeah. Like really polished, like desk wood. The same thing again. And I love stuff like that. That there's like, well, how do I get up there? What's up there? Like that's, stuff like that is so great. Just fuels imagination, fuels curiosity. Where is this?
See, like,
Oh
this is
shit.
the whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Okay. Same one, different assets. So all the furniture ought to go in the center of the room. Put a giant hole in the ground. Okay. Now what about along the wall of the room? Huge picture of a horse, washing machine, 10 stoves. I'd like the horse picture. That'd be fun. And it's building the room as you go. Trippy. I think we should light up this room a bit. Skylight, full seeing window, 10 by 12 recessed electric, 6-inch soft LED ceiling lights with fluorescent trim. Put live Tesla coils in each corner. That would be the coolest, but no, we're just gonna get the lamp. Yep. Last thing. And a table. You need a table. We have one. Where exactly are you doing this from? Tables were invented in 1935. None of my choices are making any difference. Yep. Whoa. Whoa!
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Right. It's cool. I like it. It's not so much that there's just this repeating, it's that the wall moved back and
throws
revealed
it. Out and
it.
starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward. This guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Follow the instructions carefully. Take care what you remember each step. First, click on this table. Good. Go over to the photo frame and click to turn it slightly. Now, turn the floor lamp in this room off, then turn it back on. Now go to the left side sofa, move it over a little. Finally, touch the shelves. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. Does it work? Can I remember all of that? Oh shit, I'm totally gonna forget. So what did we do? We came in, clicked the table, clicked the portrait, clicked the lamp off and then on, clicked the table, clicked the shelves. Okay, I'll remember that. Return. There's gonna be none of that in the prison. Or it's a memory test. I'm hoping it's a memory test. Okay.
And of course, Now the table is gone and you
Yeah.
can chain of events to escape. Here's a
Trippy.
version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly
Bottom
a
of the
dozen.
well. I love this
Personally,
one.
I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Oh. Ooh. Whoa. We're in like a suburban area, but not really. It's so abstract. It's just the silhouettes of houses. The lamppost again. Is that a phone booth? It's so quiet, even with the crickets. Trippy. Hell yeah, we're gonna go pick up the phone. Can't look, can't move. Hello? Who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm you from after you escaped the prison. Trippy. You're me? So you were trapped in this prison too? I was in the furniture maze, I was in the escape tutorial, I was in the reverse
It's a
prison.
conversation.
Yeah.
And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows.
What's it
But
like
the
to
irony
escape?
is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm scared I'll get out and then things will be exactly the same as before. I'm really the same person now as I was back then. It actually does change. I don't feel like the same person at all. Kind of. Oh, good. That's so nice here. What if I said the other one? Makes me feel really happy. Age just kind of does that. I'm still me, but I'm not somehow. It's hard to describe. Enjoy being who you are right now. It won't last. That's dark. I'll just say I'm still me, but not. It is hard to describe. If you're me, then did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? No, I'm the first person to call back. Then can you tell me how to get out? Maybe I can come find you. What do I have to do? All you have to do is being sincere. You need to tell me how you feel right now. Talk with me for a bit. Just talk with me for a bit. What? That will free me? How does that work? You can't know until you're out, but I promise it works. Just talk to me. Okay, I can talk. Let's just talk for a bit. It's so weird. Will you be here? I'll be here for as long as you need. Fuck. That's really good. That's really
I can see why
interesting.
he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. You can tell it's what he needed to hear, what he wanted to hear.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
Okay. Whole environment. Okay.
To
Trippy.
me,
There's the
this
door puzzle.
environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
But of course I'm going to check this out first. Oh. This is a lovely spot, actually. I wouldn't mind living here. Couldn't be much colder than it is right now. Well, my goodness. I'm glad as all heck that you showed up. Thought I might be having to clean this entire house all by myself, and right miserable that would have been. Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes. Well, and what's interesting is there's 4 glasses and 4 plates that are dirtied, and it's just the 2 of
quality
us.
The art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
I promise you, wish there was more. Why don't I finish up here? In the meantime, could you please clear the table? Oh, that was easy. Much nicer. That's the table I want to see. Would you please run to the bedroom and make the bed? Only because they're saying please. They're being very courteous about it. If they were demanding it, it would be very easy to want to rebel them. While you're in there, straighten out the rug a bit. Yeah. All the details matter. Since I've seen a house that's messy, there's no way that's true. How'd you end up doing this? How'd you end up doing this job? Friend dragged me along at a time when I was particularly desperate for cash. I can't clean this. That's trippy. Turns out I never felt so good doing something for money my whole life. Never did like cleaning my own home. I might have got some demons I ain't ready to face yet. Speaking of demons, someone's put this couch all in a mess. Would you come and straighten out these pillows? Yep. Someone spilled a drink. Yep, I saw that one. Mop that up with my bare hands. Feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Do you absolutely have to? Yeah, I'll try to get it. Yeah, cheesy as hell. Go for the cheese. No. No, it was stupid. Sorry. Never mind. These dishes need to be washed. Why don't you come do that? Aww. I want to hear it. Last I checked, the tub needed a cleaning. Well, and here's the thing. I love that cleaning is as easy as clicking. It's simple. No need to be perfect. We're all just human. Are there still books scattered on the floor of the bedroom? Would you put them back on the shelf? Only a few. That's nice, though. Perfect. How about you come clear these dishes off the table? Oh no, does it just loop?
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
Whatever work you do, you have to absolutely own it, otherwise it owns you. So why don't we be with the task at hand and leave the future towards the future you. Present you wants to smooth out the rug, believe it or not, trust me.
This was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
It makes sense. It's an overall pleasant and soothing and warming experience. This could very easily be turned into a horror game, and I love that it's not, or at least so far. Okay, so am I done? Do I head back out? I'm worried that I broke the loop. Oh, straighten the rug again. Looks like the tub has gotten dirty. Would you mind tidying it up a bit? When I said I had a really cheesy thought, I was going to say that it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it and it takes care of you. I don't know why I felt so weird about saying that. That's a weird thing to say to someone you met. That's pretty cheesy. There's a bit of truth in it, no? Anyway, so, housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. Books. Would you please clean up the books? Thanks. Yeah, it'd be boring if it was just the housekeeping or just the conversation. The fact that it's both, and it's like alternating between them. Those pillows on the couch are a real mess.
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
Question. Do you enjoy this?
It can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Oh man. That's fucking genius. Cause like, I got attached to a character model with a green head, making conversation, and just to have it just ripped away like that, it's fucking heartbreaking. That's incredible. I'm like actually tearing up that it's just gone. No, not even a death, not even just erased, just gone, just no more tasks, everything's on, you move on. That's really interesting and poetic, and I don't know, something about that just really gets to me. That's really interesting. One last look at this environment. Because as bleak and cold and isolated as it is, like, for a few seconds, for a minute or so, that became a home. That became a cozy space, that became one you took care. And I think it's because I was taking care of it. I was treating it with care, and I was with somebody that, like, shared happy feelings and a happy memory with. But of course, it wasn't a person, it wasn't real, none of this is. God damn, this is really good. And the lamppost again, hello there.
Which is the
Tall,
whole point
sexy
of the
thing.
puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
Wow. Items you love at members only
This one gets
prices.
a bit goofy.
Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Does it make your relationships more meaningful? No. I love the idea that I'm the one person at a seminar. You came here to be perfect. To become perfect. Oh, cool. This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Ugh. Right now, who do you think about that way in your own life? Who do you know who is so well developed as a person that they make you feel disgusted with yourself, compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful? I intend to make you into that person. I don't want to be that person. Perfection is within your grasp. And the question is not how we do it, but how we do it effortless. Wow. This is easy. It is so easy. It is so easy.
About halfway through the game,
Being perfect
the
is
perspective
effortless.
shifts.
Whoa! Kids should not follow their dreams on the way to work.
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Oh! Developing a cyst. Trippy. There's no truth, there's no path. Just kidding. Do what is easiest, do what is simplest. What was the holy shit one? I totally skipped over that one. Everyone run! Why don't you
Pretty
run?
hard for this one.
Perfection.
I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human.
I love
I
that,
think
because
about this game a lot these days.
yeah, I love that, because I didn't even think to look behind me as the audience members, and I love that it's different audience members that you
This
like.
one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one.
Whoa.
That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this. And it's not like it's particularly complex. So I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
But it is thought out. Like, this is a fully like stage environment. Like, everything's planned and prepared. Like all these cases and everything, different varieties and arrangements. I don't know why I took the long way around. Just because, like, I guess building up the reveal of the stage. Ooh, in this big like concert hall. Wow. Jesus Christ, that scared me. Performance is beginning. Places, please. What am I performing? What am I doing? Or do I go into the seats? In this scene, you will be playing as me. Oh, it doesn't let me leave. We're a gathering of professionals. First, you start out leaning against this wall. Okay. Play the part. Good. Stay right there. The woman across the room in this chair is a professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. This is one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on, say something to her. What, wise? Hello. Hello? That's it? That's not a conversation. Well, it is if you respond. You actually need to converse with her, be a human being. Well, she's not responding. Do it again. Super scared right now. I like you. Here's all my hopes and dreams. I am super scared right now. Super scared. No, that's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's that you need a better feel of the setting. There were a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them will represent the people nearby. Why do they bounce when I touch them? Whoa! Why are these people? Whee! No, I'm not talking to her. I'm playing with these. Boy, you must have worked really hard to get here. Messing it all up again. The music is scary. You'll freak her out if the conversation gets that personal that quick. Do you not realize how important this was for me? I'll never get another opportunity like this again. Everything was riding on this. Okay, so now what? I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. Weird. Lamppost again? Do I go all the way back? Ooh. Looks like it. That's weird. Oh. Okay, yes, now this is working. This is what it was like.
Ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer.
That got scary in the sound.
After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Wild. Mobius Trip. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin. Okay, I'm closed. My eyes are closed. Is this just the alien game again? What do I do? My eyes are closed. I literally don't know what I'm looking at. Am I just walking forward? I don't know. I literally don't know. And I want to open my eyes so bad, but I'm also like, that's kind of the... I'm a rule follower. I like the intention of it. What happened? Can I open my eyes? Oh. Did we die? Something happened?
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise.
Okay.
And there is a solution, by the way.
Help, I'm blind. It happened to me too. Can't see anything either. Everyone's blind. I'm blind. Whisper. Oh, this is the whisper. Is it? Oh, and that's the door? Tell me how to solve this. Killed by a giant door. So we keep looping it until we beat it? Okay. Captain, what can we do? What's going on? There was a giant door, my vision went black. Do we go in here? Yep. Quickly! Truth! Then we decided to speak something that is honest. I can't keep making these. That's it, that's the truth. Oh. I don't feel it anymore.
Like I said,
I'm out of
I was
ideas.
getting
It's
concerned.
draining me.
First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
I love that the time span is getting longer. He's spending more and more time making more finalized ideas. And what's crazy is that each of these quote unquote simple ideas are taking months to make, just in like spare time, I guess. Where am I? Whoa. How do I get out of here? Ooh. Is that a person? How lovely! It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. Oh, my original island appeared. I have nothing left to give to my work. I'm completely out of ideas. I try to create, I feel empty. Yeah, I relate to that one sometimes. Oh no! What's happened? Did something change? There was a machine that kept me going and it stopped. I'm trying to find this engine that used to protect me to start it again. I guess it stopped? That's interesting. Wait, you're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is. I hear water. It isn't far. I need to see it to know why it stopped. This is trippy. I can take you to it, but there's a problem. It's guarded by a difficult puzzle.
Talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
Here we go.
Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
What's next? Now just press the switch here. That was so simple.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
You have to say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say that game development is simple and joyous and that you love it 100% of the time. With crying in the back. Making games is simple, easy. None of those are true. That feels wonderful. But it wasn't true. Don't worry about it, just keep talking. Keep saying that creation is easy. I feel completely energized. I'm constantly excited and enthusiastic. It's easy. It never stops being easy. Yes, that's wonderful. Keep going.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped.
Except it's...
Video games are not worth this amount of suffering.
Except this is cathartic. He's expressing how trapped he is.
And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
It always pays off eventually. Are these all my past dialogue options?
At the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Crazy. 7 months? May 2011. Was this they said 2011 was the last one that they worked on. The machine. Oh, so we're finally seeing the machine that they teased early on. Ma'am, glad to see you've arrived safely. We've captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I tend to be quick, quiet, and tend to be brutal. I intend to be quick. Very good. Just be warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. One more thing you should know about the machine. Calls itself Coda. Oh, how meta. Sorry about that. Wow. That really scratched up my throat for some reason. Holy shit, here's all the press. And yeah, this is exactly what it feels like. Oh. Ignore them. Get that out of my... Get that corn out of my face. We're just going right in. Hello, Coda. Nice to finally meet you. You stopped.
And of course, it's the machine.
Your work... You stopped feeding us. Your work was keeping us alive. Your work was keeping us... You stopped feeding us. Those poor people out there, can you imagine what the pain you put them through? It was only because of your creations that any of us could make it through. How could we possibly go back to trusting you to do this job? That's a brutal but valid question. How about this for a start? You need to go to the people who are out there and apologize. You have to admit to them that you allowed them to suffer. I've been so alone. Yes, like admitting vulnerability. I apologize for leaving me. Oh, man. That's less valid. Nothing? Think carefully. I know how to hurt you. I've seen the thing you've heard. Just nothing. All the machinery noises. And again, it's such a unique environment. Alright, then I will apologize to the people on your behalf. Oh, door's open. Alright. My followers, my friends, I guess. These are not friends, though. It falls on me to deliver bad news. Machine will not apologize. Refuses to admit it deliberately hurt us. Well, we don't know if it was deliberate. We just know it won't apologize. Excuse me. This is not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are. We'll find a way to live with it. We do not need its games. That's stronger. That's a better way to think. Let us pay it retribution. Let us show it that we are not failures. That's a great one. Also, this environment is crazy. We will destroy the machine. We will destroy everything the machine has created. I hate both of those. Oh, it's like Fahrenheit. It's like Fahrenheit 451. I don't want to destroy the machine's creations. If that's the last thing that it has, then we at least put the machine out of its misery? Question mark. We will destroy the machine. Oh god, do they come in and like kick it a bunch? Oh, back on the stage. Light's gonna jump scare. Oh no. Same gun. Same thing as before. Do we shoot the machine? Do we have to? Oh no! Oh my god. That's genius and really heartbreaking. You do. I'll make sure your work dies here. I'll make sure you're known forever. Isn't that what you're scared of? Exposed to the view of others every day, forever seen in naked clarity.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation.
Whoa.
And
Oh, the
so,
typewriters.
as I'm
So we're shooting all the
I
levels?
realized that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
I hate shooting all these, though. These are so well made. Oh.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games.
I guarantee
I
some
brought
people
them
didn't get
that
it,
I
though.
knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his game.
Oh, nice.
You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
There's the machine. There's Coda with the lamppost. Put down your weapon. Okay. How do I do that? No, do I have to shoot it? No.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy.
Right, but how did Coda feel?
Beautifully, beautifully happy.
As long as Coda likes the feedback, I guess.
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email.
Oh no.
And it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's.
Okay.
This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made.
Okay.
So let's take a look.
Oh man. Super heavy. I'm really worried that like I hope Coda's okay. I really want to meet Coda, message Coda, like that. This is what art is meant to be. It's meant to be inspiring. It's meant to capture human emotions, the human experience. And even if it's not perfect, especially if it's not perfect, just if it captures that, if it connects with anyone, someone, anyone, it was worth making. And even if it doesn't, the fact that it was made and the fact that you had a reason to make it and you enjoyed making it, that makes it alone, that makes it worth making. So even if it's shit, even if everyone says it's terrible, the fact that you made something is worth celebrating. So that's why it feels so bad to me. Like, and it's such a human thing of like, we assign our value and our quality as people to our value and our quality of things we do and things we make, which is the saddest thing sometimes, because you're gonna make shitty things. But this is not shitty. This is awesome.
Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Yeah. But it's what I was trying to say is just you have value and quality as a person regardless of what you do or what you make. Then
this room actually has a maze in it.
Oh. What the hell?
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise. So the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all.
Except there's a way to beat it.
But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
I at least want to get to the halfway point. I'm very curious. Except having invisible walls. Ugh. Yeah, alright, just put the bridge over it. That's interesting, though. I wonder how many people, I certainly would have, but I wonder how many people would have the patience to actually make it through and, like, map out. They've probably mapped out, like, the actual, like, maze and everything and, like, solved it, both for themselves and for other people.
It's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable.
No.
Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
Whoa. Well, and that's the thing with the house cutting game, is that I actually like that it cut off. It stuck with me more that it was cut off, and it's like, okay, you're done. Move on. Task over, companion gone. That affected me more than anything.
The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code.
No way.
Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here.
Is this
I'll
the
put
end?
the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
151617. Yeah, how was anyone supposed to guess that? It wasn't hinted at. Was it hinted anywhere? No, there's maybe at the beginning with like the crates and stuff. 151617. When was that open? Behind me? Oh, up here. Trippy. And the sound design. Again, if that's part of the game, that's definitely a part of like why these take months to make, is like the amount of lighting and polish and presentation. The presentation is on point for such a unique visual, visceral experience. Okay, now where's this?
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress.
Huh.
And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem.
Maybe that's his point. Like,
But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
maybe that's his point, in that like, because he feels like a failure, like this is what it feels like. Like here's the puzzle and the solution is out of my reach. Like that's interesting. So I would do stuff like secret doors that literally can't be opened, and like I would do stuff like that for Easter eggs. I don't know if I'd ever do that for yeah, that's the solution for that.
For not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean.
Because those kept
And he
reappearing.
wouldn't.
Huh. He has a lot of integrity as an artist, of like, what the hell? That's like the only pink light I've seen in this entire thing. That's wild. And it's hidden. Well, I don't know about hidden. Are those just appearing, or were they always there?
I just felt so strongly that
Weird.
if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left. And it felt somehow like I had failed.
Interesting. And just because somebody stops doing a thing, or stops creating, or just stops working, or stops doing something in a medium, doesn't mean...
Where did I screw up?
Like, I hate that this... I can't remember his name, but he blames himself that they stopped creating. I'm like, I don't know. I kind of feel like they wouldn't have wanted to make anything else. Dear Davey, thank you for my interest in my games. I need to ask you not to speak to me anymore.
Reason that you stopped making games, aren't I?
Oh, no.
It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
I hope that's not true. I hope that they made that specifically just because, like, who else would see this and get this? Like, that's interesting. It doesn't seem like that's the case. I really hope that's not the case. I wonder
don't
times
think I
where they
ever
think of
told you
making these
this.
games for you.
But when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, it was... I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Sorry, I do want to read these aloud because these are great. You've so infected my personal space that it's possible I did begin to plant solutions in my work somewhere hidden between games. If there was an answer, a meaning, would it make you any happier? Would you stop taking my games and showing them to people against my wishes? That's the thing, against my wishes. Did Coda intend for people to see them giving them something that is not yours to give, violating the one boundary that keeps me safe? Because, yeah, this was just kind of their cathartic expression. I feel kind of gross, like, playing them, unless Coda, like, signed off on this being, like, a Steam game, you know? Would you stop changing my games? Stop adding lampposts to them? Oh, yeah, they didn't want finality and solutions and destinations. Would you simply let them be what they are?
And I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself.
Ugh.
And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing.
When I'm around you, I feel physically ill. You desperately need something and I cannot give it to you. I literally do not have it. Oh shit, that is what it's looking like. Struggling to come up with new ideas is not making me depressed. Low points are just a part of the process. That is true. The fact that you think I am frustrated or broken says more about you than about me. Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like, these are cathartic and just experimental. And the fact that he was like, oh, you need help. I realize that this doesn't make sense to you just yet. Which is fine, you're not my problem to solve. But I do hope that one day it clicks and that you make peace with this thing that you are wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
And when you finally see what I am talking about, don't say anything. And I love it's silent. Whoa.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work. Is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work,
Right.
but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Epilogue. Yeah, no, that's really fascinating. And yeah, Coda was right. Like, it says more about you than me, that you need and you want a solution and you want happiness from these games. When that's not their intention, that's not how they're designed, that's not what they are. And not everything is. So did Coda make this as well? Did Coda make one more? That's not technically a lamppost, and there's no hands.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
Can we jump on the rail? No, it won't let me do that. I assume we get on a train. That's about the only thing. Did the door open? Yep, sure did. And that's fascinating, because, like, it's not like that was, like, the worst thing. Like, he did it out of positivity, and he did it out of friendliness and wanting to help Coda. Like, clearly, that was, like, it was just a misunderstanding, a misinterpretation. And trying to understand Coda and trying to, like, make sure that they're okay. But solution. Whoa! But Coda's right. Somebody else's happiness is not your responsibility, and you really only truly make yourself happy. So
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate.
yeah, and it's
Wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed.
well, that's the thing, is that you can't tell people that they're
Just
depressed
liked making prisons.
until you can say that you're worried that they might be, but you don't know what they're actually going through. And honestly, playing all those prison games, playing like all the like games leading up to this moment right now, none of that felt like depression. That felt like expression. That felt like the opposite of depression. Depression means you wouldn't have made anything. You would just sat with those
Now,
feelings.
The disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
No. And I don't hate Davey for like acting the way he did towards Coda as well. Because again, all of this was, the intentions were all fine, and it's not like the actions were the worst thing ever. And again, this is all very abstract and, like, I don't know. And did Coda make this, or did Davey make these? Because again, these feel like Coda things. These feel like that style, that environment. Or maybe it's Davey, like, mimicking that? That's fascinating. No, the wall's not moving. It's just, these pillars are interesting. These are so unique.
My life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation. What would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
Coda can, apparently. They made the games for them. And that's what's interesting. They didn't want it shared with anyone else. They didn't make it for anyone else. They just made it. And it's...
What now?
Yeah. Super fascinating. This final stretch does remind me of, like, the final stretch in the Harry Potter Sorcerer's Stone game, though. Like, after you solve puzzles and go to face Quirrell.
I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna... Okay.
What is that? Oh, just a building. Oh, you know I'm gonna walk through the arches. This is cool, though. Just this desert environment with the structures. It's so clearly, like, minimalistic and abstract. It's not, like, based on a civilization. It's just whatever was made. And then these. These are interesting. Do we drop down here? I'm gonna drop down here. Another prison elevator. Oh. Very slow one, too. It's interesting. I can almost see. I can almost go in. Wee, wee, wee. Oh, it stopped. Does it stop there anywhere, or does it keep going? Yeah, it does stop there. Nice. No, I love all of these. All of this whole experience. I'm really fond of this. Is that the beam again? The sacrifice beam? Interesting. And then do we ascend again and get to see that whole environment that we just saw? Because I would love that. What's there? Thunder in a clear skybox. Sorry again for the clacky keyboard and the silent spaces, but it's just the one I have at the moment. Yep, sure looks like it. Sure is again. No sound either. Alright, let's try it. Yep, here we go again. Oh, and we don't get to see it. It just ascends and it just ends. Oh, but it's endless maze, endless labyrinth? How trippy. At what point does it stop being 3D model and just a texture? I'm curious. Whoa. So cool. And then space above us. This has got to be Coda's making, right? Has the same mechanic, has the same... yeah. Trippy. It's like the hedge maze from The Shining. Except going reverse. That's trippy to just stare at. I'm going cross-eyed. And it is infinite. It just keeps going.
Turn back.
For R.
Turn back from this cave.
Is that like Coda's initial? Huh.
You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going. But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles. And you're so tired. But I know that you're strong. So turn back. Turn back.
Interesting. Wow. Chapters. How many chapters? Intro. So each of the individual games. Theater, Mobius, Tower, Epilogue. That was beautiful. I genuinely love that. That was amazing. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I would say play this for yourself blind, but obviously if you just watch this then you haven't. But still, buy this, play this. If anyone knows, like, that's the tricky thing. Like, I would want to reach out and like connect with Coda, but that was clearly not their intention. That was clearly Davy's intention for Coda. But I still really want to get to know both of them. They both seem like as creatives, as like just passionate people, as humans. Like, I love that. I love that stuff. That's fantastic. I will say, for those who have or haven't played it, regardless, like, what are your thoughts? What's your interpretation on it? Like what was your experience playing this? Like, I'm just dipping my toes into game development and like been for the majority of my life just thinking about what it means to create and why, who for, what purpose, and like what to leave behind and what that says about the people who made them, and it's what I've found is that it's regardless of intention, people will interpret it differently. It'll be either misinterpreted or even if it's correctly interpreted, like you can kind of misdirect, or again, like this game showed, you can hide things that are in the game that you intended, but then also things that nobody ever sees and nobody finds, so people can interpret it completely differently than what is actually there. And honestly, regardless of what you put in your game or whether you make it accessible or hidden or not, and that goes for any creation, honestly, whether you put that in stories or art or any form of media or medium or entertainment or anything like that, any creation, you don't have control over the interpretation. And as the viewer, as the interpreter, as the player, you don't have any control over the artist or how they make or interpret, how they create. So it's this really fascinating, like, it's not quite push and pull, because like the developer doesn't always respond to the player, and it's more like laboratory experiments. But again, like, I don't know, it's interesting because games are so fascinating to me because of the interactivity element to it and because of the gameplay element to it. You really can. It's an interactive art experiment. It really is, and it's there's a lot of people get a lot of trapped into a lot of these hard set rules of what a game is and what a game should be and what people prioritize. Some people prioritize, like most people prioritize gameplay first and foremost, of like, what do you do? Is the core gameplay? Is it fun? And again, fun is subjective. Fun means different things to different people. For me, I found this fun. I found this enjoyable. Not a lot of people are going to, because, well, I say not a lot of people. There's at least a handful that do not enjoy walking simulators at all. They're going to be pissed that there's no enemies in the guns section. They're going to be pissed that there wasn't actually people in the notes that got left behind. Like, those are all from the dev. They're going to be pissed that there was a narrator the whole time. They wanted to turn that off. And like, I don't know. Regardless of what you do, what you make, there's going to be people that you piss off. There's going to be people that you connect with on the other end of the spectrum. There's going to be people who get it, people who don't get it. There's going to be people who love it. There's going to be people who hate it. In my eyes, as long as people... Well, and even then, there's going to be things that you make for yourself and then things that you make for others. Because, like... I don't know. It's super fascinating. I could ramble for hours. I probably will. I very, very much enjoyed this. This has been... much like Stanley Parable, as I was hoping, and certainly delivered, this is one of my favorite game experiences, just experiences, period, of anything I've experienced. So I would highly recommend this. Definitely check this out. Thank you for sticking with me and seeing it the whole way through. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, or at the very least, I'm glad you stuck it out to the end. I will see you all next time.